Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Monday. Glad to have my tag team partner back. He was out with bird flu all week last week. He's still not 100%, but he's here. He's going to tough it out. It's one of those things, it's always, don't you hate those? The ones that just drag on and just, for days and days and days. And especially with us, the head stuff and the throat stuff, that's always worse. Like, you're like, I feel fine. I just can't really talk that much. And that's what Jason's got that crud going around. Speaking of crud, did you see North Korea was sending balloons filled with manure and garbage into South Korea? It was pretty funny. I was like, when they first started doing it, I was like, wow, that's kind of an interesting thing. Hey, we're just going to put crap food filled balloons and have them burst over there. But apparently it was because they were upset the South Koreans were dropping leaflets into North Korea. So I was like, maybe I'd dump some crap on you, too, if you were doing something like that. But, Jason, I guess you had one of those Korean-filled balloons. But glad to have you back, buddy. Glad to have you back. Got nothing. Is your mic on? Let's see. It's on. Okay. There you are. There you are.
I didn't have myself in on the, okay. Well, Jack's on vacation, so I think Craig or somebody's there helping me out. So lots of stuff to adjust to on the first day back.
Yeah, so there you have it. Welcome back, Hey Live Radio. That's the perfect way to come back. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And, man, we nailed it with the year of chaos, haven't we? Just absolute insanity going everywhere. The Trump verdict on Friday, the Dow was down. It looked like it was going to close down pretty big. And then the last, 20 minutes, I guess the Democrat hopefuls, right, they couldn't let the market be down last week. So the Dow, it was up, I don't even know, 400 or 500 points. It was huge. Right now, the Dow is down over 200 points, but the big news is technical issues at the New York Stock Exchange. One of the funny things was Berkshire Hathaway was down 99%. Can you imagine Warren Buffett waking up and being like, what? What do you mean my stock's down 99%? So I don't even know. Kind of hard to know exactly where the market is. But once again, technology, I say it all the time, technology is great. It really is. Right up until it doesn't work. But this week, it's jobs week. So starting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll get ISM. We'll get layoffs on Thursday. Then we'll get the government number on Friday. ISM, JOLTS. JOLTS is kind of how many job openings are. I think that'll be a key one as well. It's really been falling a lot faster, especially the last, say, 60 days or so. And it is a flat blackout period for the Fed, thankfully, because they have been out every single day for the last 2 weeks trying to convince everybody what a great job they're doing. So we won't get any Fed comments this week. But really, Jason, I think the key is going to be, it's kind of odd to say this, the less jobs, the better, right? As far as the Fed is concerned, they're going to be crossing their fingers that there's not a lot of job creation going on right now.
Right, and that feeds the ability for them to possibly drop the rates. But what happens if those numbers go the way the Fed wants and there's still inflation? That's going to be the big question, Joe, is if there's still inflation, it doesn't matter how many jobs are lost. That's still a decision to be made.
Yeah, and when we get back, there's a lot of things to talk about. We know we've been talking about central bank gold buying, countries taking their gold out of London, out of New York, because, you look at something like, take Venezuela as an example. Their gold was sitting in the vaults of London, and they seized it. The Reserve Bank of India, without telling anybody, which is probably a good idea, right? You probably don't want to broadcast it, repatriated 100 metric tons out of London vaults. The decision carried out in the uttermost secrecy, according to the Indian RBI, the Indian Central Bank. One of the large gold movements in recent time. Of course, remember, Germany had repatriated all of their gold. A lot of now India's total gold holdings, by the way, 822 metric tons. They've been adding to the holdings, but it really is interesting because obviously India, a former, British colony, I think a lot of people here think that we've got a pretty good relationship with India, I guess versus, say, China as an example. But even them, Jason, they're like, nah, you know what? We're not having you guys hold our stuff anymore. It's just another one of these signs that the rest of the world no longer trusts the West. And well, when you figure out how much debt we really owe, it's kind of easy to see why they're doing it, but add it to the list. That's 100 tons less gold in London vaults. We'll be back after this. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason here on this Tuesday. A quick look in at the market. The best I can tell. The Dow is down 206. The S&P is down 7. The Nasdaq's up 30. GameStop, roaring kitties back. GameStop shares doubling today. Gold's up 15. Silver is up 20 cents. The 10-year note, this is just insanity now. 441 on the 10-year note, as everybody is trying to figure out what the heck is going to happen in the bond markets. Remember, we're rolling into into June. Well, August, wishful thinking. Into June here. Get ready now. We're back with the every 100 days. Let's add another $1 trillion. And unfortunately, 1.1, maybe 1.2 to 1.3 trillion every 100 days as the tax receipts now have been spent. The Treasury, we found out last week, not only are they going to have to increase the auction sizes, right? This is kind of what we expect now. Every 2 to 3 times a year now, the Treasury needs to increase the size of the debt auctions that we're already struggling with. But what we learned, they're not keeping the balance sheet of the Treasury. They said, well, we want $750 billion in the checkbook every day. But yet, they're not doing it. Why? Well, because the auctions have been so bad that the Treasury now has been stepping in. They've openly said, hey, we're going to backstop Treasury auctions and all of these things draining the checkbooks. But this is why, listen, we know, this is the year of chaos. We're watching this debt bubble, right, kind of really looks like it's on its last legs. We don't know when the market's going to burst, but you can feel it. You can see it. Everybody still talks about how expensive everything is. And I don't care who you talk to. Everybody's seeing it. And the need to be diversified, it's so It's always important. You know, we always say it here all the time, right? Don't put all your money into gold and silver. It's just like having all your money in the stock market or housing, or you pick it. Right? Just, it's not good. It's not good sense. But when you start seeing what we're seeing today, and of course the biggest being the Treasury market, the biggest debt markets, Wall Street and the Treasury, and you start seeing this 10-year note make moves. I mean, these moves are ridiculous. I mean, in a few days, we go from 4.3 to 4.7, then back to 4.4. I mean, this isn't how a stable market is supposed to work, and we saw that. We've seen that. Right? Think about when we were getting ready to go into the financial crisis and all of these crazy moves on Wall Street, right? The Dow would be down 500 one day, up 500 the next, down 1,000, up 600. I mean, volatility is usually one of the things that you see, and we're seeing it here. That's why I keep telling you, check out our friends at Repatriates. Whatever amount of money you have allocated for Wall Street, you know, maybe it's in your IRA. Maybe it's in, I don't know, your E-Trade account. Some of you in your 401ks. You can get up to 10.25% fixed rate of return with YRefi, not correlated to Wall Street. I think that's something you should absolutely look into. Like I said, if you have $50,000 or more, check them out. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y. REFY.com, or just call them at 888-YRefi24. It's kind of funny, like today, the NYSE, they're like, I don't know. We don't know what happened. I mean, take some of that money. Hey, and then you won't have to worry about it. Was that real? Was it fake? It was a fat figure. It was a computer glitch. Whatever it may be. Jason, it really is an interesting time when we start thinking about inflation. Rubio's today, 48 locations in California. They're just closing them, saying, you know what, this $20 minimum wage, forget about it. We're shuttering them. Get ready for the airlines again. I thought the airlines were all done. Nope. The flight attendants haven't gotten the raises. American is now saying through Reuters, they're getting ready to hit the picket lines in their last minute. They're hoping for a last-minute deal, but negotiations been going on for weeks. The flight attendants at United, Alaskan, American, Frontier, amongst the dozens of airlines trying to reach new deals. Listen to this. American flight attendants said they haven't gotten a raise since 2019, Jason. I mean, these numbers are going to be right. Man, if you haven't gotten a raise since 2019, you're probably, what are they asking for? 50%? Right? I mean, something like that. Look at what McDonald's said. Hey, McDonald's was like, our costs are up 40%. Since 2019, Jason, if flights weren't expensive enough, I guess they're going to get more expensive.
Maybe they'll just have a screen in front of you, and if you need a blanket, the robot pops up and says, well, go walk to the back, and there's a compartment, and get your blanket, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, what was it, 30, 40 years ago, what a flight used to be versus today, what kind of treatment you got, and why do you need a stewardess if you can simply have a robot tell you how to get all your creature comforts while you're on the plane, right?
I mean, could you imagine if somebody couldn't get their alcohol, right? I mean, as it sits already, I don't know, and that just blows my mind, these deals. People don't understand how all of that works, but it definitely seems like we're getting a lot more of the, okay, in order to pay people what they want, we're unable to stay open, right? Because, look at what Rubio's decided. In order for, if we, raising prices, in order to fit this, Didn't work, right? Business started to go down. You know what? We're just packing up. We're closing up shop, and we're doing it effective immediately. And we're really starting to see this, right, in that restaurant space, right? You know, and I'm talking, you know, and I'll say the mid to lower, right? So Outback, Steakhouse, and down. Right, Olive Garden and down. Right, you're seeing it with McDonald's and the Burger Kings. Right, now it's Rubio's. Like Boston Market's out of business. All of these places, Jason, are struggling, and very similar to view that as the consumer. I think the consumer that normally would go to those places, they're in the same boat, aren't they? They're like, yeah, we're struggling, and it's going to be very interesting to see what this jobs market is come this Friday.
I remember about a month or two ago, I ran that story about people now having cereal for dinner more than once a week. If you're having cereal for dinner, you're not going to Red Lobster, which has been closing all their stores, right, Joe?
Right, Red Lobster. Bankruptcy. They shuttered over 100 stores, and they did it like overnight. Their employees didn't even get any notice, right? They just showed up. Hey, I go to work today. There's a sign on the door saying, thanks for playing. Today was your last day, right? You know, thanks, but no thanks. We had the ISM survey data out. New orders declined at the fastest rate since December of 2023. Prices paid down, but barely down. So this is not I guess it's good that it was down, but they're saying that it was barely down, especially with new orders kind of slipping there. They're saying cost pressures continue to build. Inflation was on that front the strongest in just over a year, although output prices rose at a slower pace in May. It's unlikely to be sustained should cost burdens ramp up further. And this is going to be the thing here. How much are they going to have to pay these people to stay? How much is it going to cost for raw materials and things of that nature? Cocoa prices, we talked about, remember cocoa had hit some crazy level. It came back down. Well, guess what? Shot right back up now, as they're now saying the shortfall in cocoa is going to be even worse than was anticipated. They raised the shortfall by another 50,000 tons. I've got the same feeling this is going to happen in the silver markets. Keep your eyes out. There are certain markets where shortfalls that they're hoping for are not going to come to fruition. India, taking that 100 metric tons of gold out of London, that's a big deal because they like to pretend that they have a lot more gold than they do, even when it's not theirs, Jason.
Yeah, silver looks like there's some things going on that if the dam bursts, it could go up tremendously. I saw a guy doing some mathematics. And, he's not saying that this is exactly what's going to happen, but he looked at the gold to silver price, and then he looked at the copper to silver price. If it actually measured out the way it's being mined out of the ground currently, gold to silver has silver at $330 an ounce, and copper to silver would have silver at $350 an ounce. And so I don't think that will actually happen in that fashion. But if the dam breaks, so to speak, it actually looks like, Joe, that $100 to $150 an ounce for silver is actually something that could happen, like you said, echoing what's going on with cocoa and copper and these other commodities.
Yeah, and even John Deere now. John Deere saying that they are going to start letting people go, saying it's a farm downturn. And again, being a farmer, man, it's tough out there. These commodity prices, they're always moving in one direction or the other. But at the end of the day, cost. What fertilizer cost, what diesel cost, what farm equipment cost, all of the things in between. But now John Deere saying that it is slashing its annual outlook, saying farmers are having less money to spend, and you just kind of see this perfect storm as it starts building and building and building, because now even a smaller increase, which is kind of what they've been saying. Well, hey, look, the inflation's only, this core PCE deflator that doesn't really track anything. Well, it's only at 2.8%. Oh, it only costs 3% more. And the farmer's like, but I didn't get 3% more. Right? I'm getting what I got last year. That math doesn't work. Right, Jason? I mean, listen, most of the businesses out there, they don't operate like NVIDIA on 80%, 90%, 70% profit margins. You're lucky to get 7 or 8%. And when you get whacked by 3, that's a huge hit. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here on this Monday. Gold's up $17 here, $23.40 right now. Silver's up about 19 cents here, $30.50 to the ounce. Today was special, and it's a good one. $10 Liberties. We're going to big savings. You're going to save $15 a coin, 1 through 19, $12.60, 20 or more, $12.50. So think about this, $12.50. That puts you down to $2,500. I mean, that's insane. That's just so great when you can buy fractional gold this close to spot. I mean, that's $160 over spot. I mean, that's especially, that would be one thing. Listen, that would be a lot if spot was like $600, $700, $800, $1,000. Spot's $2,340. I mean, that really is a huge opportunity. $10 Liberties, 1 through 19, $12.60, 20 or more at $1,250, at 800-951-0592. And earlier we talked about India, right? Part of BRICS. All of a sudden, in secret, and again, I get the secret part, right? And let's not announce it until after we've brought it back. But repatriating 100 metric tons of gold back to India. And Jason, it kind of leaves you wondering what's going on here, right? What's happening here? China in dollar terms. China's the second largest economy. Where's India now? Is India? It's either fourth or the fourth or fifth largest economy in the world. It's starting to get a little creepy, isn't it? When you start seeing, hey, wait a minute, two of the biggest economies of the world, and of course, let's not forget about Brazil and Russia. Now they are essentially getting ready to have pretty much most of the Middle East getting ready to join BRICS, and all of these nations seemingly loading up on gold, turning away from the dollar. It does leave out, this possibility whether or not they come out and say we're going to issue a BRICS currency or not. I don't know. A lot of people say, well, they may be backed by gold. I don't know that either. But I do know that they want to be able to say, hey, look at these gold holdings, and we've got a lot of gold. In other words, we've got more gold than we've got treasuries, and that puts us in a good spot.
Right, Joe, and they don't necessarily have to have a currency. They can trade amongst their own currencies, right, Joe? I mean, if Russia prints up too much, you use yuans. If yuans print up too much, it's just currency trade has been going on for how many years, right? So they don't really need – if they come out with a currency, then there's a reason for that. They need everyone to look at it, to take it seriously. But they don't really need a currency, Joe. When Saddam Hussein wanted to – pull away from the United States completely, he wanted to start trading oil for euros. Euros, our friends, the Europeans, right? And that was enough for the United States to go on into Iraq there and take care of that.
Start bombing, yes. Start bombing. Weapons of mass destruction, yeah. So right now, India's 5th, but they're getting ready to take out Japan. Matter of fact, it is with less than $150 billion difference. In GDP here. So it looks like India at some point this year will become the 4th largest economy in the world. China's number 2. By the way, Brazil is number 8. So again, the BRICS here starting to really put together an impressive group of nations, at least where it comes to GDP. Russia's 11th, as an example. I mean, it really is something that we need to particularly watch out for because, and again, a lot of it has games that are being played. Janet Yellen has been playing a lot of games in the Treasury market to try to hide how bad things are. And I think, Jason, we're really going to see the next 9 months. We're going to be like $38 trillion in debt, maybe even 38.5, heaven forbid 39. Sometime next year, we're going to crest the 40 trillion level. And how soon until the Federal Reserve, not only do they have to stop quantitative tightening, they're only going to do $25 billion in treasuries anyway, starting this month. But I think the big question, Jason, for us is how soon until they start quantitative easing again? Because I just don't see a way around it because they're already having trouble selling the debt now, and it's only getting worse.
Right, and the Treasury's playing some games too to sort of buy back their own stuff, which will also is like quantitative easing in disguise. So it's already happening. The Treasury's decided, well, we're going to do it without the Fed. The Treasury's done waiting for the Fed. That just means the Fed will be pushed into it. And with higher rates and printing, I remember 2 years ago I mentioned that to you, Joe. I was like, what about these higher rates and then printing money? At that time, you're like, that can't happen. You just can't do that. And I was like, well, when you have very few good choices that actually can fix the situation that's happening, then you do those things, right, Joe? And man, we'll see, right? I mean, what happens? You start printing the money, and then the inflation starts to come in behind that. Do you raise the rates and then print more and then raise the rates? I mean, at some point you break it because you can't pay the interest on the debt at all. I mean, what we're paying on the interest on the debt is ridiculous now, but what will it look like if you set forth higher rates in printing?
Yeah, that's going to be, I think, a very interesting time in the market because how it's supposed to work. You don't do easing until rates are at 0. So the Treasury saying, well, we can't wait. We're going to have to help prop up the markets. We're going to have to do it because the Treasury, well, let's face it, they're still doing quantitative tightening. I mean, rates haven't gone down at all. And I think we're going to see this time around, which I didn't see. Listen, a year ago, I would have told you you're crazy. But I think we will see quantitative easing with rates not at 0. As crazy as that sounds, I think that's just the issue. And, of course, listen, that'll be one more thing as to why they say they need a digital currency. It really is giving them more power to steal freedoms from everybody. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Just a super special today. $10 Liberties. These are the older ones, 1866 to 1907. Pre-33 gold. Why do we love it so much? Just the most private way to buy gold. It is. And what I love about it, listen, nobody loves it when somebody wants to rip you off, right, and charge you exorbitant pricing. But when you can buy $10 Liberties for less than half-ounce Gold Eagles or half-ounce Krugerrands or whatever it may be, that makes it even better. They're $1,260. If you buy 20 or more, $1,250 at 800-951-0592. If you're new out there, it's okay. Call the girls. Call the number. One of the girls will answer. And just say, hey, I'm brand new. I want that special. If you've got questions, we're happy to accommodate you. If you want to come in, Jason's in Fort Lupton. We've got our office here in Arizona at the Deer Valley Airport. Call us. Set an appointment. And we'll gladly sit down with you, lay it all out for you, answer any questions you have. Those of you out there that are like, man, I'd love to buy, but my money's all tied up, but I've got an IRA or an old 401k. We can help you convert that into a precious metals IRA if you'd like as well at 800-951-0592. Now, here's the thing I want to make this clear to people. What gives the money in our wallet, the money in our paychecks value? What gives it value? Right? Well, right here in the United States, the government says, well, you can use that money for all debts. Of course, that's not true anymore, really, is it? How many places out there refuse to take cash down? Heck, my bank charges me for putting cash in the bank because I put that much cash in the bank. But it's not quite as true as it used to be. But really, what gives it real value? It's really pretty simple. It's demand for a good, which in this case Federal Reserve notes, based on its perceived benefit. Right? Why do countries like China or India or any other out there buy treasuries? Well, because there's a perceived benefit to them in doing it. Right? Why do people look at American Airlines today? Their flight attendants are going to walk off the job. Why? Because they don't believe the good that they're receiving, right? The goods, the salary, the dollars that they're receiving, that they're getting a perceived benefit from it. So now they're telling American Airlines, pay us more money, or we're not going to work. This is what's happening with the dollar right now globally. Countries are saying, we need a bigger benefit. What's a bigger benefit? Well, much higher interest rates would be a bigger benefit, wouldn't it? If they were getting 7% or 8% or 9%, we probably wouldn't have too many problems selling debt. Well, actually, we may, because the amount of debt we'd have to sell would probably double, going from 5% to 8%, just because of interest. See, this is the problem with the dollar right now, as far as the world goes. More and more, not just countries, businesses, sovereign wealth funds, they're all saying, you know what? I think I can get a better benefit buying something else. And Jason, I think this is the thing that most people here maybe don't put that together, right? That wait a minute, you know, the demand for a good, the demand for money, right? And you go do your job, and the perceived benefit is, well, I can buy a house, I can buy a car, I can send my kids to college. For most Americans now, that perceived benefit has disappeared. They can't do any of those things. And the rest of the world, the same thing applies. Maybe they don't want U.S. houses, but they want to buy corn, they want to buy wheat, they want to buy oil, right? They want to buy power and energy, and they need to buy stuff for their economies. And what they're seeing is, hey, I'm not getting the benefit that I used to get from holding dollars. And of course, what are they doing? Well, they're going to something they think is better. Gold, silver, copper, right? They're going to commodities. They're going to real things that are real, things that you can feel, things that you can touch. And that's what they're buying.
Yeah, Joe, it's quite the struggle when you have what's happening in the last couple of years with this inflation. I guess everybody was okay with it slowly eating away at us, right, Joe? Just slowly eating away every single year. I always thought it was horrible. After 4 or 5 years go by, you lost 10%, right? And I guess people got lulled into sleep. But now that all of this thieving has gotten to a higher level, now people are running around pointing fingers and upset at what's going on. It's like, well, you should have been upset when it was manageable. Well, now it's gotten unmanageable, Joe. So hopefully you wake up in time. It's better than not waking up at all, right, Joe?
800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour will be back with the final segment on this Monday. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. We have several lines open right now. $10 liberties. I know it's Monday, right? Monday's always, people are just kind of getting going in the week, but this is a good one. Like I said, not all specials are created equal here. $10 liberties, 1 through 19. $1,260, 20 or more, $1,250. I mean, that's, 2 tens, $2,500. You got gold at $2,341. Just a great opportunity to buy the actual commodity super close to spot. And that's really what you want to do, right? When you're talking about buying gold, what do you want to do? I want to be private, and I want to buy it as close to spot as possible. Just a great opportunity today. 800-951-0592. If you're new out there, anybody out there, listen, it's just easy doing business with us. Just call up, tell the girls, I want the special. We'll have one really hard question for you. How many would you like? What happens after that? You're going to bother me. You're going to blow up my phone. You're going to send me all these texts and emails. We don't do any of that. We don't make any outbound phone calls. We don't bother our clients. We talk about when you buy and sell gold, you want to be as private as possible. We actually carry that out, Jason, with our customers, right? Hey, when you're doing business with us, you initiate the business. We don't initiate the business. We don't call you. We're not bothering you. We value privacy all the way through, which separates us from just about everybody else out there.
That's right, Joe. That's right. And we meet with our customers. It's not some phone call and some shipping. I mean, although we do ship, obviously we're based in Arizona and Colorado, so we'll ship outside of those areas. But it's nice. It's nice to be able to sit down and if you have a few questions, you can get them answered, right, Joe? It's nice to be able to actually speak to a live person and actually get answers and things you need. I mean, how much in modern society are we missing the ability to actually learn and understand how these companies are working because you can't even talk to an actual person. Even at the damn checkout line at the fast food joint now, you got to click onto some computer and something and just wait for your food to show up. It's nice to, for me, it's always been nicer to deal with a person, even if I'm in a good mood or a bad mood. I'd rather just deal with a person than deal with some computer or some internet site or whatever. It's nice, and it's also nice that privacy is really, really important, Joe. It's just when it comes to this stuff, especially.
Yeah, like I said, if you got questions, we can answer the vast majority of those over the phone really easily. But for some people, they're like, you know what, I need to see it, right? I need to see it. I don't know. I've heard a lot about gold. I hear people talking about gold. I was at a party the other day, and we got on everything's so expensive, and somebody there started talking about gold. And I want to know more. I want to learn more. Call us. We don't buy. We got this. The girls here, they are the best of the best. They're going to take their time, answer all your questions. Like I said, if you want to sit down with one of us and make an appointment, we'll gladly do that for you as well. 800-951-0592. $10 liberties, 1 through 19, 1260, 20 or more, 1250. Jason and I, we're coming right back. We got the half-empty cup coming up next. Stay with us.